IGA supermarkets across our region say it's time.
It's time.
Time to shop locally at IGA.
Shop where you help support local manufacturers like Paul's, Hazeldene's, Tip Top.
Love the deli.
Shop knowing that when you sit down to dinner, lunch, a snack, you're keeping your dollar local.
Shop where your local supermarket supports your community.
It's our price match. Fresh produce. Market days.
Huge meat sales.
It's time.
It's time to shop locally at IGA.
Across Western Victoria, this is Win News.
Tonight, high alert. A severe weather warning issued for parts of Western Victoria. A Ballarat ag manufacturing business to expand and chase more exports. And the state opposition's vow to improve the region's roads, hospitals and schools. Good evening, I'm Jared Constable. Also tonight, bolstering our CFA crews, more tanker drivers as more volunteers get their truck licence. Western Victorians are being warned to brace for wild storms and damaging winds expected to last until tomorrow. A severe weather warning's been issued for the region and the SES is urging everyone to stay indoors, avoid floodwaters and damaged roads.
Wet, windy and wintry weather's arrived early and is expected to smash the state. A severe weather warning's been issued for the Mallee and parts of the Northern Country, and regional Victorians are urged to brace for damaging winds.
In addition to the winds, we're also seeing areas of showers and the risk of thunderstorm extending across those northern parts of the state.
Sheep farmers across the state are also being warned cold temperatures and strong winds are a high risk for livestock. Up to 30 millimetres of rain's expected to lash the Mallee and northeast parts of the state in what's the coldest outbreak of the year so far.
For tomorrow, the heaviest falls are really going to be on and south of the ranges, most particularly about the eastern ranges.
As the polar blast moves across southeast Australia, snow's expected to fall tomorrow in areas outside normal alpine regions. The SES is urging us to stay indoors, but for those on the road, the message is clear.
Do not drive in floodwaters. It only takes 15 centimetres for a small car to float.
This winter's forecast to be warmer and wetter than average, and with strong winds expected to last the rest of the week, emergency services are urging us to prepare our homes, avoid power lines and trees.
Sometimes just the smallest amount of wind can make trees fall. Just be aware of what is around your house and around the area that you are.
Grace Aiken, Win News.
A local agriculture manufacturing business will soon expand and employ more people thanks to a boost from the state government. Family company Harwood Grains has been operating in Ballarat for more than 25 years, and money from the Regional Jobs Fund will enable it to consolidate its factory to one site and invest in a new production line.
We expect to see this business grow and recruit up to 10 new workers. The Regional Jobs Fund is all about supporting great businesses right across rural and regional Victoria.
The new infrastructure will also enable the business to tap into the growing international export market for hulled grains. Hospitals, schools and roads across country Victoria will be upgraded if the state opposition's elected into power in November. It's pledged to commit 25% of its infrastructure budget to the regions, helping close the gap with city investment.
Millions of dollars will be spent in the regions if the state's opposition's elected at the next election. It's committed to spending at least a quarter of its new infrastructure budget in the bush.
Improvements in roads, connectivity, infrastructure, anything that enhances planning pathways and also businesses out to the region and our really important visitor economy is something that we will always welcome.
The moves to ensure regional residents get their fair share of funding and are provided with the services they need as areas expand.
We want Victoria to be a state of cities, not a city-state that is totally dominated by Melbourne. So to help our regions grow, they need to have the infrastructure that will enable that to happen.
Money would go towards roads, hospitals, schools, rail services and sports facilities, all which are under increased pressure as more people move to the country.
Currently in this year's budget it's about 13%, in last year's budget it was about 11%.
But we do need to have those connectivity options and the appropriate resourcing so that the continued development of regions can be seen and we can all continue to thrive.
The government says it's invested $36 billion in regional Victoria since 2015, 5 times more than the previous Liberal National government. And 40% of the $2.9 billion investment in health infrastructure has been allocated to the regions. Morgan Dyer, Win News.
Peter Dutton's been elected unopposed as Liberal Party leader with Susan Lee as his deputy. David Littleproud's usurped Barnaby Joyce for the Nationals' top spot. He also jostled Gippsland MP Darren Chester for the coveted position. Senator Perrin Davey was elected deputy in a separate three-way contest. A planning permit's been issued to install more than 180 lights along the extent of the Steve Monaghetti track around Lake Wendouree. Heritage Victoria notified Council of the move, which will see the completion of the lake's lighting project that's been strongly opposed by some locals. Prior to work starting, Council must submit construction management, tree management and protection plans to Heritage Victoria for approval. It comes as the organisation considers listing part of the lake's surrounds on the Victorian Heritage Register as a place of state significance. A national report's found regular trips to the sale yards have a profound effect on the social and mental well-being of our farmers. It's revealed the sense of isolation skyrocketed at the height of the pandemic as many sale yards shut up shop or had limited access.
They're a key hub in many of our farming communities. But aside from the obvious economic significance, sale yards are critical for the socialisation of the community.
There's a whole lot more to the community than just, the dollars and cents, the coming in, the social interaction of people.
The community coming together, having a chat about problems they may be facing, and the trends of the livestock industry giving farmers a social outlet away from their farms.
They talk about different things they're facing and, it is actually a good way to open up to someone and check in with a mate.
And as many sale yards were shut down or severely hampered by the height of the pandemic, the need for social interaction has never been higher.
People have obviously returned to the sales, and a lot of people actually come not always to buy, not always to watch their animals being sold, but they'll actually come to, talk to their mate that they know will be here every Tuesday or every Wednesday or every Friday.
The social value of sale yards report found 96% of people said when they aren't buying or selling, they are catching up with their friends and socialising.
Sale yard owners and operators should place high importance on creating spaces within sale yards that allow for connections to occur.
Socialising at the sales an important part on keeping up relationships, also benefiting mental health.
The mental health side of it of people, you can get wound up in your own little world, staying on your own little farm, doing your own little thing.
Michaela Fanto, Win News.
Coming up next on Win News, Western Victoria, Australian and US troops undertake a 2-week defence training exercise, and bolstering our CFA crews, more tanker drivers as more volunteers get their truck licence. More than 100 CFA volunteers are hitting the road after getting their truck licence to drive tankers. It's helping ease the pressure with more members now available to get behind the wheel.
More volunteers in the driver's seat. After moving from the city, signing up for the CFA was a no-brainer for Wayne Kerrigan.
When I came up here, I thought, well, I've got to do something. I can't just sit around and do nothing. So CFA was the best option.
Now behind the wheel, the Neerim South locals hoping he'll soon be able to respond to Code 1 emergencies.
Just getting the truck licence, it's more to it, because later on I can go Code 1 and then learn how to park the truck safely and properly.
The Enhancing Volunteerism grant program's allowing more than 100 members to get their truck licence. More than 44 West Gippsland brigades have taken up the initiative.
The smaller brigades that are just got the little tin shed and the one truck, through to places like here at Neerim South that it's got increased members.
And with around 40 members at the Neerim South Brigade, it's allowing volunteers to juggle work with their CFA commitments.
Certainly helped with our daytime response. There was a period of time when we sort of lacked a couple of numbers there, so it was great to get the new members on board.
Out Warragul Way and even into Melbourne, it's hard to get the drivers. So with the job I sort of got, it helps relieve that sort of pressure.
Jack Morgan, Win News.
Malden's Porcupine Village has struck gold with a $1.7 million boost from the state government. The historic ghost town and popular tourist attractions expected to open in coming weeks, helping revitalise the town's economy.
A historic gold rush town's gaining a new lease on life. Malden's Porcupine Village is undergoing major works to restore the popular 90s tourist attraction.
It's going to bring tourism back to Malden.
The town will replicate life on Victoria's goldfields in the 1800s. It houses 40 historic buildings, including a general store, school, blacksmith and pub. The state government's backing its restoration with a $1.7 million investment.
It ticks so many boxes. It provides extra accommodation. It provides extra opportunity for young people to learn about the gold rush.
The funds will be used to deliver new accommodation, including glamping tents and safari-style cabins, which are expected to sleep 120 people.
And will mean that more people can come, not just stay for one day, but can stay for a longer period of time.
The project will also create 100 jobs and support 30 positions once open.
It's 15 acres and we're using every bit of that, so it'll take a bit of looking after.
It's expected to open in just a few weeks and is tipped to be a huge draw card for the region, attracting local, interstate and international visitors, as well as Victorian schools.
The children will have an opportunity to learn all about the goldfields, so I just think it'd be great.
Grace Aiken, Win News.
The nation's capitals put on a show to recognise its 5th annual Reconciliation Day. The National Arboretum hosted performances, speeches as well as workshops.
A day to recognise and explore past shared cultural histories, sparking important conversations and creating change.
It is important for us to come together as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and non-Indigenous people, and our young people, our future, to learn with them, to teach them, to pass our knowledge on to them.
With the theme of National Reconciliation Week, Be Brave, Make Change.
Reconciliation Day is a fabulous day for Canberrans to come out and be part of the discussion, working out what it is they're going to do to be brave and make change.
Be brave, make change is that what are you going to do as an individual to progress reconciliation?
The ACT, the only Australian state or territory to recognise the importance of reconciliation with a public holiday.
Well, I think it sends a really important and strong message to the rest of the country how important reconciliation is to the ACT community.
We're the only territory, the only state that celebrates Reconciliation Day, so I'm putting it out there to the other states and other territories. Come along and join us.
A day that Gamilaroi man and former MLA Dr. Chris Burke says should be used by all to promote conversations that act as a catalyst for the future.
Take advantage of it, use that as the fulcrum to lift the conversation and get those changes happening that will bring about reconciliation in the future.
National Reconciliation Week continues through until Friday. Montana Claire, Win News.
Defence Force personnel are preparing to partner with the United States Navy on a 2-week-long exercise in far north Queensland. Exercise Sea Explorer aims to strengthen our ties with the US through interchangeability and integration.
Amphibious forces from across the world ready to join forces. The HMAS Adelaide and USS Ashland stocking up for 2 weeks of beach-based warfighting training, a combined military effort between our Australian Army and Navy and the US Navy, with 1,400 soldiers and sailors taking part. The ships depart the port of Townsville tomorrow, making the journey to the tried and tested training area of Cowley Beach in far north Queensland, where exercise Sea Explorer will play out over the next 2 weeks.
It's a great demonstration of the strength of the partnership that we have with the US Navy, and truly shows that we can quickly come together and be interoperable and also interchangeable.
The capability for the amphibious forces has grown tremendously over the last decade or so, and now we're getting to the point where we can really make some money here by working together.
The exercise focuses on the amphibious landing capabilities of the two forces, but there will also be eyes in the sky joining them.
Representatives of the full fleet of Army's wheeled vehicle capability will embark today. We'll have boxers participating later on, so you've got a really fulsome and meaningful capabilities that can do a lot of stuff that's going to embark over the next day or two.
The safe, controlled training plays out annually, preparing the troops for any real-life scenarios they may face.
The security challenges that are happening in our regions is just increasing all the time, and I think our ability to show that we're a bigger force together, right, instead of even just two separate nations that can kind of work together, or just work together, I think sends a much bigger message.
There won't be a tactical environment. It's really about safety and making sure our procedures are right. Later in the year, we will overlay a tactical situation and bring to bear the full amphibious warfighting capability that the Australian Amphibious Force can bring on offer.
Hayden Menso, Win News.
The nation's top drops will undergo an all-important taste test by some discerning judges, with entries now open for one of Australia's major wine events. From vintage dry wines to fortified wines, sparkling creations, brandy and even low or no alcohol beverages, this year's Royal Hobart Wine Show features 46 classes for judging. And as the industry recovers from a tough few years, the calibre of entries flowing in is expected to be high. Competition closes on July 24 before the judges get to work in September. Sport is next with Bonnie Barkmeyer, and the Green and Black have brought home some silverware.
They sure have, Jared. We'll have more on Western United's spectacular A-League Grand Final victory after the break. And also coming up, how our regional stars fared in the AFL. Dartmoor's Jeremy Cameron's come away as Geelong's leading goal kicker after the Cats clawed the Crows over the weekend. He was one of just many regional Victorian stars who put on a show in a big weekend of footy.
It was pressure from the get-go for Gippsland's Josh Dunkley, winning possession with courageous tackles and putting the Eagles in strife. The goals didn't stop flowing for the Bulldogs. Dunkley's 2 in the first, a sign of things to come.
As Dunkley gives it every little bit he's got and it carries the journey.
But it didn't matter who put them through the posts. The Dogs showed anyone's capable. Key defender Alex Keith up forward to take 2. There were 16 individual goal kickers, putting it on par with the most ever, leaving the Eagles 101 points down by the siren. Elsewhere, it was a surprising upset for Fremantle, who stumped the Demons with their first loss of the year. Bright's Matt Taberner helping turn the tides for the Dockers, coming back from 4 goals down at half-time.
Breaths, and you can understand why this simply must. And it has been delivered from Taberner for the Dockers.
Bendigo's Joel Selwood slotted 1 for Geelong, while Dartmoor's Jeremy Cameron was the leading goal kicker against Adelaide, finding his 4th with a snap.
50 Cameron with a party trick to pick it up. We talk about his snapping, Jeremy Cameron! What a star this man is!
The Cats looking comfortable inside the 8 with a 42-point win, and former Murray Bushranger Todd Marshall kicked 1 for Port Adelaide, taking a strong mark inside 50.
Todd Marshall, a 23-year-old. Should have no problem this time.
Jack Morgan, Win News.
Melton continues to strengthen its push for premiership contention, moving 3 wins clear on top of the ladder. In a top versus bottom clash, the Bloods dismissed Lake Wendouree by 81 points. Around the grounds, Darley's accuracy in front of goals was a downfall for the side, Ballarat claiming the win by 3 majors. East Point and Sebastopol enjoyed big victories, while Redan made the winners list over Sunbury. In the netball, North Ballarat claimed a nail-biter over Lake Wendouree, while there was no winner in Melton South's epic clash with Sebastopol. Western United's men have been crowned the A-League champions after taking down powerhouse side Melbourne City 2-0 in just their 3rd season in the competition. While City was hoping to take home the silverware for its 2nd consecutive grand final, it wasn't to be. United's first goal came just 100 seconds after the opening whistle in front of more than 20,000 fans at Amy Park. In taking victory, the Green and Black, which uses Mars Stadium as one of its home grounds, became the first team since Melbourne Victory in 2018 to win the championship from outside a top 2 finishing position in the regular season. Ballarat Miners women's sides welcomed former Melbourne Tigers guard Charlotte Brown-Catasano, who suited up alongside older sister Isabella against Keilor on Saturday. Despite the newly added depth in the local outfit, the Miners were missing key player Jade Melbourne, who was fulfilling Aussie Opal's commitments. The side went down to the Thunder 85-75. In the men's, it was a different story. The Miners enjoyed a come-from-behind 3-point win. Young gun Zach Dunmore produced a career-best game with 19 points. And Jared, that's all in sport.
Thanks, Bonnie. Weather is next with Adam Straney, and it's going to be a mostly cold and wet week ahead. Details after the break.
It's the place with more in store. The Village has it all. Get the things that you want, anything that you need. Get it here at Stripe Village. You get it all together.
Hey, welcome back to a brand new week. Severe weather conditions right across the region today, with gusty winds still possible in parts this evening. Thanks, Margaret, for your gorgeous shot of Lady Bay Beach at the Bull. It's a great spot, isn't it, hey? Not at this time of year. It's freezing. Hey, you know what? If you would love your photo featured, then email me, weather@wintv.com.au. Overcast conditions with showers persisting this evening. Ballarat had an overnight low slightly cooler than the May average. Stawell warmed pretty slowly, cracking double digits at around 2 this arvo, while Horsham picked up 8 mils of rain into the gauge overnight, seeing a few light falls through the day too. Neil had pretty gusty winds of 55 k's per hour. On the charts, a deep low-pressure system crossing northern Victoria is going to clear to the east overnight as a cold front follows in its wake Tuesday, embedded in vigorous southwesterly flow. Now, winds will then gradually ease from the west later on Wednesday as a high-pressure system strengthens and extends a ridge right across northwestern Victoria. Let's have a look at our waters. Showers, thunderstorms, possible hail inshore, and a strong wind warning is in place for the west coast. As we have a look at the forecast for Tuesday, high chance of showers with thunderstorms, gusty winds, a bit of small hail as well. Snow lowering to around 700 metres at times, and sheep graziers are warned of the strong west to southwesterly winds, hardly getting to 10 degrees in some parts. For Ballarat tomorrow, though, Tuesday is becoming windy with showers up to around about 8 millimetres, 7 degrees. For Melbourne, windy, a few showers, around about 6 mils expected and 11 the top. Over the next few days, right across the region, cloudy, high chance of showers, snow falling above 700 metres. And on Thursday, partly cloudy, light chance of showers. And on Friday, cloudy with those showers redeveloping to a high chance. A few wet old days ahead, Jared, that's for sure.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks for your company. That's how we saw your news. Have a great night. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.